Hey guys, did you see that game? I saw that game, and I know Brett saw that game. We all saw that game. It was a pretty awesome game, and we're going to talk about this awesome game. Jose Altuve, Jason Castro. This is why Jason Castro should be starting a lot more games and playing a lot more often. We're going to talk about this win. Yeah, 2-2, baby. We'll talk about this on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and this is your daily Astros podcast. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse, and I'm here with Eric the Man Huysman. You can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter. You can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. Eric, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Astros. You find the show at Locked On Astros. And sorry, my internet's down, so I'm actually on my hotspot today. I'm like, of all the days, you really have to choose today, stupid internet. But yeah, this is an awesome show. I'm really excited about this, and I may be going in and out, but that doesn't mean I don't want to be here. And guys, make sure you make the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. And I know a lot of people will be listening in, and make sure you go subscribe to us on YouTube. Go and give us a like, and I know that we got a big shout out on the network about a whole bunch of likes, and keep on subscribing, and make sure you listen to audio version, whether that be Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure you listen to Locked On Astros podcast. So I am. So let's go and talk about this. And you know what? The best place to talk, that would be the Spotify Green Room. Tell us a little bit about Spotify Green Room.
So Spotify Green Room is the place where we talk about sports, where you and I, Eric, get to talk about the action with the Houston Astros fans. They get to be a part of the show. You come in, you download the app, you check us out, you talk to us, we bring you up on stage. Spotify Green Room is changing the way we talk about sports.
Yes. So Zack Greinke got the start today. I know a lot of people were like, oh, he's going to go 3 innings. This is the Hall of Fame pitcher that we're all used to. But that was not the situation. And I think a lot of us understood this. If you saw him the last time he pitched, he only pitched 1 inning. And I was kind of aware of this in the situation. So, yeah, I'm not too surprised that he only lasted, 5 hitters or 5 outs or something. I don't know exactly how many hitters he faced, but he didn't look terrible. He didn't look great. He did walk that one batter. To his credit, that one batter was kind of a weird situation because I think that ball 4 was really a strike, but it's just the way it was caught. I just didn't like it. I mean, it was kind of it should have been a strike, but the umpire missed a whole bunch of calls in this game, but I think that went on both sides. But then you had that hanging slider that was in the middle of the strike zone. It's just gonna be like that. Unfortunately, it was that situation. So, but the Astros bullpen, they came in. Christian Javier. What can you say about this guy? This guy came in and saved the bullpen. He pitched 3 innings. He only allowed 2 hits. He did have 2 walks. He had 3 strikeouts. He really saved the day. So Christian Javier, I know he didn't get the win, but if you could assign the win to any pitcher, I would give it to Christian Javier. I know Kendall Graveman and his 2 innings. How about that? He got 2 innings.
Exactly. So here's the deal. Zack Greinke only goes 1 1/3 innings, like you said. And I was questioning him being pulled early, but you were about to send him back through the lineup. It was the top of their order. Kyle Schwarber has been hot. And Rayleigh comes in, and Rayleigh is like a god. He's from like Mount Olympus, sent down to save the Astros. And then Christian Javier, like you mentioned, comes in and does a great job. And, Jason Castro, I really wanted him to get an at-bat earlier. When Martin Maldonado got up, he had the guys on second and third. He had a chance to bring them home.
Yeah.
And I was like, Castro should have been hitting here. Now, everything worked out for the Astros in the end. And I really think that getting this series 2-2, Eric. Now it is back in your hands, not
We
necessarily in
have
your
home field,
control,
sort of.
but you have to go back to Minute Maid regardless,
Right.
because you play one more in Boston and then you go back to Minute Maid. Remember 2017, we're down 3-2 to the Yankees. We come back and we win games 6 and 7, and we end up winning. I think bringing us back to Minute Maid is what the Boston Red Sox did not want to happen. The fact that Nathan Eovaldi, their ace, comes out and gives up a run and totally loses the momentum in the game is a huge shot. Now, we've talked about this, and we've got to stay true to what we've been saying, or what I've been saying. Momentum does not go game to game. The momentum starts tomorrow with the starting pitchers, Eric, how they go. So they could come out, either one could come out firing. I'm not going to say which one because I don't want to jinx it, but whoever comes out firing, that could kill the momentum for the other team. So this game, you've got to wipe it off the books. You're happy you got the win. You tied it 2-2. You have a chance now to go away back home up 3-2, and then you can breathe easy. But what a masterful performance by the bullpen. The MVP of this game is the bullpen, Jason Clutch Stroh, as I coined the term. If you make a shirt, you got to give me some royalties, dang it, or at least a free shirt. And, that was amazing, him being in there. His first hit, Eric, the line drive that he hit straight to the first baseman for the Red Sox, I was like, oh my,
Yeah,
man, if that ball would have been a hit, I mean, that would have started something. So Castro just comes up and he rakes. I mean, what can you say, man? The guy comes in, he's hitting 667 in the postseason, Eric.
Yeah, and it was just crazy how I'm trying to look up how hard he actually hit that ball, but yeah. It was actually crazy how hard he hit it. Let me see. Jason Castro line out. That was 107.5 miles per hour off the
Yeah,
bat.
he crushed it. And hey, I don't know if y'all can see in the background, but I have candles burning in the background. And I have a candle burning in between the Bregman and Alvarez back-to-back bobblehead right next to the Conoco home run pump. So I think that brought us some good luck a little bit.
Yeah. So somebody said momentum doesn't travel. So I think if there's an off day, I think that momentum wouldn't travel. But I think the fact that the Astros did this at Fenway Park, I think they did it against their ace. I know he was already throwing in bullpen, so they just said, hey, why don't we just get him in there? He's the guy that we can trust, and so I don't think that Alex Cora made a mistake there. We've seen this before in the playoffs. It's the playoffs. You're going to either do or go home. So I think that they made the right decision there, bringing in their best pitcher. So I think that the Astros, Kyle Tucker, he had a great hit there. Then you had. But that the whole thing that led up to that situation was Jose Altuve's home run, and this was his first hit since his first game tying home run that he had in game one.
And Altuve has not been great in this series. He's been less than great. I want to address something real quick because someone's calling me out saying don't diss Maldonado like that. Here's what you got to understand. I love what Maldonado brings offensively, but you can't tell me a guy that is 1 for 23 in the playoffs that he's the guy that's supposed to be batting in key situations. I get it. I get you like Maldonado. I think we all like Maldonado as a catcher, but I'm talking about his bat. Jason Castro's OPS is 2.467. Maldonado's not even hitting 100. He's under the Mendoza line. So I think we have every right to bring up that he has not been hitting. Now, he has provided leadership behind the plate. He has done well behind the plate. Castro's not as good defensively. We know that. But in key hitting situations, you've got to have your guy that can hit the ball. They were struggling to scratch across runs. And guess who got the clutch hit? Guess who opened the floodgates? Sorry, it wasn't Martin Maldonado. It was Jason Castro. Now, Martin Maldonado, to his credit, gave the team a pep talk before. He is a leader. I'm not taking anything away from Maldonado as a part of this team, But in situations, you can't be so married to a player that you're blinded by your like for them that you think that they should be in every situation, because Maldonado should not have been hitting in this game, period.
Yeah, I think that in this series, maybe not in the White Sox series, because the Astros, I think the lineup was better than the White Sox. But I think in this series, I think the Red Sox and the Astros lineup is comparable. The Astros may be a little bit deeper, but you're going to have to outslug them. You don't have the pitching, especially with your starting pitching, the way that they perform. You're going to have to outslug them. And unfortunately, you don't. Martin Maldonado is not that slugger right now. We've seen it in past, but just not right now. And so I think that's why a lot of people are calling for Castro to start. And so this is something that we can have probably in a long discussion about. Everybody can have their opinion on Spotify Green Room.
That's right. Spotify Green Room is changing the way you talk about sports. Go to this app. It's free. It's easy to get on all iOS devices. It's a first social audio platform made for sports fans. You can check out myself at H-Town Wheelhouse. You can follow Eric at Eric Huysman. And you can go ahead and join the MLB, NFL, NHL, NBA room, whatever sport you like, go join it. When you see us pop up with a conversation, you can join the show. We bring you on the stage and we allow you to be a part of the podcast where you can be heard not only throughout the world, but all over the planet, wherever they get radio signals. That's right. Spotify Green Room. It's changing the way that we talk about sports.
All right. So speaking of changing the way you talk sports, why don't you talk about, why don't you make us your first listen every day, whether that's on YouTube, you can go ahead, subscribe to us, give us a big thumbs up, and make sure you tune in every day. Like the other day, I still love that comment. Like, I listen to y'all before I listen to my wife. Hey, that's a great comment. Keep it up. But yeah, this was going to be a show where it's like, are we really going to lose this game 2-1?
Yeah,
on a slider, a walk and a slider. That we kind of did a reverse jinx, and I already made my thumbnail, and it was like Greinke kind of walking away after that slider, and then it was just like I was like, let's do this. We've done it before, a reverse jinx, and it worked. So maybe we'll have to do it tomorrow. So I know I kind of joked around on Twitter, and AL says that, well, let's go and start Eric Huysman tomorrow. But somebody was joking around.
No offense. We got the series tied. We don't need Eric Huysman anymore. I vote against that. I love you, Eric, but not that much, man.
Right. So are we moving on from the catching situation, or are
let's talk about how the game started.
Not Bregman, but Alex Bregman. That big home run. That I thought that would be
that big home run. Yeah, right. That big home run, and then that he had that huge snag in this. I believe the second inning, the line drive that almost went into left field, and Bregman did well tonight. Bregman was a big time ball player tonight. Eric, so the top of your order has not been hitting. Okay, Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, Alvarez, Correa, they all got hits. Three of those players had multi-hit games in Correa, Alvarez, and Brantley. And what kind of scenario, what kind of deadly lineup is it where you walk someone to get to Alvarez? That's insane, if you ask me. That's how dangerous this lineup is. But this is baseball, guys. This is why I love this sport, because you can go through this litany of emotions. I was at game 1, and I was sitting there, and everybody in the stadium, we're falling asleep until Correa hits that home run. But let me tell you what has bit the Red Sox in the butt. Rodriguez pointing to his watch. He poked the bear. Bear. Do you remember what what's his name? Tupperware said, whatever his name is, the guy from the White Sox.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
At home watching the series,
and that's why Joey. That's why Alex Correa did it again. I did it on another podcast for Boston. I've called him Joey Cora since he was here. Anyways, Alex Cora was pissed when he did that. And then Correa got on second and he did this again. So it's fun banter back and forth. And I kind of joke about that.
Right.
But I'm sorry, man. You do not want to poke this bear.
Yeah, but Carlos Correa came out and said like he's okay with it, and he said, I think we talked about it yesterday. He's
Yeah,
okay
he
with
was.
this.
Yeah.
It's part of the banter, and like we're doing it on the in the MLB chat room today, where like somebody threw a trash can, like drew a trash can, and you kind of edited it and did like Apple Watches and everything. So
Yes.
it's a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit
that was
fun.
that was so lame. I was like, okay, you're gonna put the Red Sox holding trash cans so they don't know. Go look at my Twitter feed. I put one of them with an Apple Watch and one of them holding a video screen because we all know that they got caught cheating twice,
Yeah.
and they won a title with Cora. He got suspended. They didn't win. They were in last place. Now they're trying to win another title with Cora. Kind of weird. They hit 3 grand slams.
Alex or Joey? I'm just kidding.
Shut up, Alex
All
and
right.
Joey. They're like cousins, I guess.
One thing I want to bring up about Alex Bregman's home run, it looked impressive, but it had it was exit velocity of 100 miles per hour, a launch angle of 44 degrees, a distance of 354 feet. But you want to know what the expected batting average of it was?
What's that?
Point 080. So
Wow.
in most ballparks, it probably would have been a pop up, but it still looked pretty good there. So Jose Altuve's was 107.9 miles per hour off the bat, a launch angle of 26 degrees, 400 feet. And
That
then,
was, dude, that was a rocket, Eric. I
yeah,
mean, it was a no doubter. I was like,
which one? Oh, Altuve's.
yeah,
Yeah.
Alves I mean, it was like, holy crap. He quit.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that the Astros did what they need to do in the bullpen. I can't, I just can't get over what the bullpen did today. And you didn't, yeah, you use your top bullpen. You didn't use Presley today. Stanek today. You didn't
Right.
use who else did
But
we not use?
hold on. Hold on. You used Graveman, and he was amazing for 2 innings, Eric.
Yes,
You
but
used
he may not be
Matan.
available for tomorrow.
You know
Graveman may
what?
not be available
That's
tomorrow.
okay. We got a game 6 regardless, man. Graveman is doing what they signed him to do. You remember how everyone's like, "Oh, maybe Graveman is homesick." He's not homesick, dude. They were messing with his mechanics. They do that a lot. We need Framber to come out. I refuse to believe that Framber has 3 bad games in a row in the postseason. His first 2 starts have not been great. He's not looked super great. I think he comes out, and I think this game is a catalyst to that. I think there's a cause and effect. I'm not saying momentum, but I believe going into next game, it gives him that confidence. He's like, hey, my bats are here. The bats are alive. They do wake up. Oh, guys, that's right. Remember, we love hitting at Fenway Park because we've
Right.
done it before. And who is it? Chris Sale. He is the
So
son, he is the child of Bregman and Altuve and Correa. Bottom line, Chris Sale's a tall, lanky dude. Remember, he
Sale.
hasn't pitched. Sale, yeah. Blame it on my ADD. Anyways, but Chris Sale is a tall, lanky dude. He hasn't pitched in 2 years. This is his first time really pitching in a couple of years. I really think that the Astros can easily, Eric, I'm saying it right now, easily take this next game.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think Framber Valdez he's a gamer, and he's a guy that needs to focus. Maybe it was too much for him starting the first game, so we'll see what happens with him in this situation. So I think that I was really proud of what Chas McCormick said today. He said that a couple of guys came out, Martin Maldonado and Jake Odorizzi of all people came out, and after yesterday's loss, he came out and they came out and said, "Look, guys, we're not down. We came back. The team came back from being 0-3 last year, and so we're not out. Yes, we lost. We were already down 9-0, 2 games in a row. Yes, it sucks, but we can't give up. And so what he said, this is what I think Martin Maldonado said. He said, last year, I can tell you we were down 0-3. I talked to some other guys in other years. They were down 0-2 or they're down 0-2 a couple times. This team knows how to come back. They don't carry a bad game into today's game. I mean, these guys are professional. They don't worry. They're very, very confident. And then I think Jake Odorizzi came out and said that he talked to the pitching staff and said, "Yeah, the starters, we understand that we've been letting you down, but we know we've got to up our game." And so I know Zack Greinke didn't really up his game today, but
Exactly.
he's not stretched out. We knew
It,
this.
but you know what though, it worked out, and this is something I want to talk about here too. Greinke, Greinke wasn't stretched out. I didn't expect him to go long. I expected him to go at least 50 or 55 pitches. But go ahead and put that message back up there that I had, because
I,
he asked a key question.
what was it?
It is about right here. Do you think, and this is from an Aggie, Darren Wright, do you think it's crucial that we ended in 6, or do you like the chances of pulling out the series in 7 just as much? I think if it goes back to Minute Maid Park, even if you happen to lose a game, now you have to win. You can't lose tomorrow and lose game 6. If you win tomorrow, okay, and you go game 6, I think even if you lose, I think a game 7 at Minute Maid Park, I'm not worried about. Now, it is the Red Sox, and they have been red hot. But who was 0 for 4 today? Kike Hernandez. He's cooled off a little bit. It's hard to sustain the pace that he was
Actually,
on.
he got a hit in the 9th inning.
Okay. So he was 1 for 5, right? But he definitely wasn't the Kike Hernandez. Yes, we answer your question. We try to answer not all of them, but we try to answer the good questions. Like there's some troll in here named Mason talking about stuff
It's not
to us, and we're not even going to answer him. But the bottom line is this: the ball is in the Astros court, Eric. They
right.
took this series. It's 2-2. They stole this game. And
Yeah,
I said it at the beginning of the game. You're up. You're down by 1 run. If you don't take advantage of this situation where their offense is flat, you deserve to lose this series.
All right. And speaking of stealing, I'm afraid next time you come over to my house and my apartment to watch a game, you're gonna steal my Built Bars.
Yeah,
So
that's
talk to
right.
me
So
about
Built
Built
Bars are
Bars.
amazing. Oh my gosh, dude. I just got this new Built Bar. It is like pumpkin spice puff or something. It's insane. Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar in the business. And if you're a healthy, conscious guy or girl and you're just looking to lose or maintain weight, or you're working out and you need something that has a lot of protein but doesn't have a lot of the extra junk in it like sugar and carbs, you need to grab a Built Bar, because every bar averages about 17 to 18 grams of protein. They range from 130 to 180 calories. Only 4 to 5 grams of sugar, 4 to 5 grams of net carbs, amazing flavors, all tasty, all healthy. The grasshopper cookie, which is their take on the Thin Mint, Girl Scout cookie, raspberry, whatever your heart desires. The Built Bar is the official protein bar of the USA Track and Field team of Locked On listeners like yours truly and Eric the Man Huysman. That's right. So go to built.com and use the promo code LOCKED15. That's LOCKED15 to receive 15% off your first box, because that's the same discount that we get. Built.com. It's a kingdom where protein reigns, 100% chocolate bar reigns, and it's the best bar in the biz.
All right. So real quickly, what do you think BetOnline.ag is saying after today's victory with the Astros
Oh
game
man,
tomorrow?
I mean the odds probably went up a little bit in their favor that they get out of this series, and maybe the plus is dropping a little bit. But let's focus on basketball, because the season opener for the Rockets is coming up this Friday. We're back and better than ever in a new web interface for the start of the basketball season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. We're going to go see Josh Giddey and the OKC Thunder versus Christian Wood and Green and all these new Rockets. BetOnline remains the number one spot for all basketball and football action this season. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code Locked On to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, baseball, postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.
All right. So Danny RL asked Eric and Brett, what are your thoughts on Dusty Baker? He is stepping up since the White Sox series, in my opinion. Yeah. So I would say a couple of these games in the Red Sox series hasn't really been his fault. I mean, you can't help the Grand Slam game, the 2 Grand Slam game,
Yeah,
and you can't help when Jose
yeah, that's
Urquidy just doesn't have his stuff. And I mean, when the game spirals out of control, there's only so much as a manager you can do. So I think that today's game is a perfect example of him being a good manager. Now, when the crap hits the fan, that's when you have to kind of look at, okay, what is he doing wrong? What is he not doing? But what he did today was perfect managing, I think, in my opinion.
yeah.
The one thing that was a little bit suspect maybe was taking out McCormick for Diaz, but I can see what the situation was. But
I
McCormick did have a hit in that situation, but Siri can come in and play defense. I get it. I did like that he brought in Castro, but I know you said, well, maybe he could brought in
Yeah,
Castro
here's the
earlier.
thing. Yeah, I mean, it's all Monday morning quarterback talk, right? It's all like, kick back on the recliner and make the critical decision when you're not the one making the critical decision. And we all understand that. I think Dusty Baker, and I'm willing to give him credit, he did manage this game because his starter did not give him what he was supposed to give him, and he was struggling. And it looked like, honestly, Eric, I thought the wheels were going to come off early. When they got that 2-run homer by Xander Bogaerts, I was like, this game's going to go awry quick. This is going to be another one of those blowout games. And Dusty, he managed the bullpen, and the bullpen performed. Okay. And that is the other key element. If the manager gives you the best chance to win and you win, that's great. But if the manager's putting people in spots where they don't really belong or they struggle and then they don't perform, a lot of times people turn and look to the manager. And someone's like, well, how can you blame the manager if the players aren't performing? The manager's paid to put the team in the best position to win. You and I have talked about this. We've talked about this with our friend Larry, the GM. You and I've talked with Jake Kaplan, with Ben Verlander, with all these experts that we've had on Locked On Astros. If you haven't seen our past shows, go back and check them out. But he has done a great job. Game 1, he did a phenomenal job. Those 2 games in between, those were just shellackings. That's just baseball, and it happens. Today's game, Eric, he deserves all the credit in the world. This is a true team win from the manager to the players, because the players never gave up. As fans and as a watcher of the game, I was struggling, man. I was like, I don't know if I want to continue to watch this like 3rd game in a row. And then they snapped out of it just like in game 1. And I have to look at myself in the mirror and go, oh, ye of little faith, because I think Dusty Baker was the one that helped this game go and stay in the right direction. He steered the ship properly today. So kudos to Dusty. I think he gets 2 thumbs up from me.
All right. So yeah, I was trying to search stuff and it's affecting my internet. So
No, that's okay. Let's not worry about all that.
Yeah, Dusty Baker said, "This is enjoying baseball as if you're a child when you're dead, seemingly in the water, and then boom, boom, boom. We have some big hits, none bigger than Carlos' leadoff double." And then he also said he's not surprised by his bullpen. We had a fresh Javier that helped a lot. And by the way, Framber Valdez is indeed starting game 5. I don't think anybody was surprised by this. And what was kind of surprising was the fact that that before the game, Dusty Baker said, well, Framber Valdez could be available in this game. Well, if he was going to be available in this game, who's going to pitch game 5? I guess you would say maybe Luis Garcia could pitch because he only pitched that in that game. But Dusty Baker said it was a great job by the whole team. This was a huge win. And he also said that the Jose Altuve's home run was huge. You got to tie it before you can win it. Mic drop, Dusty. I mean,
Dusty, between Dusties, you got to tie it before you can win it. and Alex Rodriguez saying the team with the most points wins the game, or the team that scores the most runs wins the game. But Frank Thomas actually picked the Astros to win today, 7-5.
I heard that. Yeah.
And Big Papi and both Alex Rodriguez picked the Red Sox. So hey man, we got A-Rod on our side for once. Maybe he doesn't hate us, but I think too, when you look at this game, when things started to fall apart, it didn't take much to crack this shell or this shield that the Red Sox had built. I'm not saying they're paper champs. I'm not saying that it was fool's gold. But this Astros team is better top to bottom than this Red Sox team. The Red Sox team has been hotter this series overall.
I mean, starting pitchers, their starters have gone deeper in games. That's the only thing I'll give them
Okay.
credit
Okay.
for.
No, right. But I'm saying top to bottom, and of course, let's just say this. I'm talking about lineup right now. I'm not talking about necessarily pitching,
Okay.
but I'm talking
I
about
just want to
lineup.
clarify
Yeah.
that.
No, that's why I said top to bottom. Sorry about that. I will clarify. Top to bottom, hitters 1 through 9, even with Maldonado in there. Sorry, guys. I know y'all love the guy, but I mean, and then, dude, you know what's hilarious? My wife rarely pays attention to baseball. And when it was on, she was like, "Who is this Joe Buck guy? He sounds like a jerk." I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Does he hate the Astros?" And I'm like, this was an observation that, and she doesn't really know the history with Joe Buck and fans, how they're, I mean, Joe Buck's a world famous guy. And if he ever wanted to come on the show, I would love to talk to him and all his experience, but everybody feels like he's against us. Right. And my wife picked up on that. I just thought it was funny that she was like all over it. Like he doesn't seem to like the Astros. He's always talking about how bad they've been. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
Smoltz does the same thing kind of.
Yeah, somebody brought up, but there's a few balls that were like flyouts that it looked like that Joe Buck was like, "Oh, it looks like it's out of here," but it was just a fly out. But there's this one, I think there's one fly ball that Michael Brantley caught, and then he kind of stared down the runner, is like, you're not going anywhere." But that was classic Michael Brantley. So this was a really great game, and what was kind of weird was that the original lineup had Jake Myers in it, and then he was scratched. And so then they put Chad McCormick back in the lineup after having Jose Siri played a game before. So this is kind of worrisome. I mean, I know that they're kind of equal. I would say that Jake Myers is a better defensive player, but that offensively they're kind of the same. But in this situation, I guess Dusty Baker just saw something that he still doesn't think he's ready, and
Well,
that's what he said.
okay, shoulder injury, it's cold. Why would you put Myers out there and possibly hurt him more? You don't put someone who has a shoulder that just recently injured in a cold weather game, in a colder. I mean, they were all wearing gloves and long sleeve shirts. It
Right.
made sense for him not to play him. Chas McCormick got 2 hits. I love seeing Chas McCormick in there. I think he's a great young player. Jose Siri, and here's the thing, Jose Siri wasn't out there, but he was out there waving the runners home at the end of the game. He just loves the moment. I saw an interview with Julia Morales and Jeremy Pena from AT&T Sportsnet on Twitter, and she was asking him what his experience was like. He said, "This is unbelievable. He goes, I'm getting to observe the pros, and I'm getting to observe the guys that I look up to and how they go about their daily routine." And so he's drinking it in. So the young players that are on the taxi squad are benefiting from this. And I think, Eric, there's a benefit to seeing a team struggle and to seeing pros struggle and guys that are the best of the best not do great every game and come out of that. That's a huge mental training because baseball is a mental game.
Right. So Jason Castro said that he thinks that the reason why he's been so successful in these late games is because A, he hasn't played a lot, but B, he said, "I think I found my routine that I've been happy with in game, knowing when to get some swings in and when to get loose." And he also credited Christian Javier in the bullpen as well as Jose Altuve for putting him in position to drive in the go-ahead run with his big ninth inning at bat. Yes, I know we're mostly talking about Jason Castro. There was a lot more runs, 7 runs scored in that inning. And yeah, I wanted all those runs because the way the Red Sox offense can explode, you needed all that insurance. But
And
that was,
how many outs did they have when they scored those runs?
wasn't it 2? Yeah. The Astros
They
seem
had
to do
two
that
outs. They have, I believe it's 36 runs in these playoffs
in the
with
first
two
8 games.
outs.
Yeah. hmm
Yeah, that's insane. That's got to be some kind of a record. I talked to Peter Bukowski about it on the Locked On Now
That's the
podcast.
most in the span of in postseason history. So yeah.
I mean, that is the difference between this team and all other teams. Now, you saw the Dodgers. I don't know if you saw the Dodgers. The Dodgers were down 5-2, came back and ended up scoring 4 runs in the bottom of the ninth.
Stupid
If the
Bellinger.
if the Dodgers and the Astros can make it back to the World Series, It is going to be a matchup of epic proportions, Eric. It is going to be a series for the ages. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The Astros are no longer the favorites by BetOnline.ag to win the World Series. You know who the favorites are?
The Braves?
Yeah, the Braves are.
Oh yeah, because they're up 2-1. I mean, now I really think the Dodgers do what the Astros did. I think the Dodgers tie it up. But the Braves really showed something out there. And what a great game. What a great team win today, Eric. The emotions up and down and just going, all right, do we do live tonight? Do we not do live? Because it's hard to come on here and have energy when you're watching your team just get shellacked. And they didn't
Right.
get shellacked tonight. It was just, you got to get runs. You got to get runs. Come on. Oh, and just every opportunity was missed until the end, but they did it when it counted.
Yeah, Chandler Rome. I don't know if y'all follow him on Twitter, but he has some interesting tweets sometimes, and
He
like
does.
he tweets like, "Oh, well, Greinke didn't get the left-hander out. Now he has to face another right-hander where he struggles against." And I saw an interesting tweet where he used the eye emoji where it's kind of looking this way, and I was like, that doesn't seem like a Chandler Rome type thing. And this was a quote by Brian Cashman about the Yankees. And this is what it said. The bottom line is shortstop is an area of need, and it's going to be, we have to address it. So you ain't addressing it with our boy. Stay away from him. So
Yeah.
that's all I
So
have to say
here,
about that.
and here's the thing, folks. We will be bringing you great but great action and great news off season. We will be talking about trade scenarios, the implications of signing Correa to a large contract. What does that do to pitchers you want to sign? What does that do to Tucker? What does that do to signing Yordan Alvarez? And that's what we all have to remember is we have guys coming up in the wings. We've got Corey Lee, who's supposed to be the future catcher. If these guys end up being the studs that they say they're going to be, then you're going to have money set aside. And so how much is Carlos Correa willing to give and how much or take on the deal and compromise and how much are the Astros willing to give him? It's going to be a definite interesting offseason. On top of that, the CBT, the league, the players union, it's going to be a fun offseason, dude. It's going to be like baseball 24/7 around here.
Yeah, and like you said, we're going to be doing this all off season, whether it's during the winter meetings and everything. But hopefully, we're not going on off season mode anytime soon because the Astros still have they still understand the assignment, and the assignment is to get to the World Series. And whoever it is, the Astros have a mission, and that mission is going to be harder if they can't get the starting pitching to go past 2 or 3 innings. And seriously, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. They've got to go deeper into games. They can't keep on using the bullpens like they are. And so we'll have to see how tomorrow's game is. Framber Valdez has got to go 5 innings, 4 or 5 innings. And I mean, at this point, you have to wonder, is it Dusty Baker pulling him too soon? I know, and he wasn't great, and he threw like a whole bunch of first pitch balls, and he just didn't look great in his last start. So he needs to come out and just look really great. The Astros just need to take care of business. I know Bregman came out and got the first home run, but then you had the Bogarts 2-run homer,
right?
But the Astros stayed in this game.
They stayed in the game. They never gave up.
Right.
And here is a message. And I don't know if Carlos Correa is going to hear this. I'm just telling you, Correa. The Yankees are going to throw everything at you, the baby with the bathwater, okay? But let me remind you real quickly, the history of long contracts and big contracts. Garrett Cole is making all that money. He's sitting at home watching you play playoff baseball. You stay here in Houston. We'll take care of you. We'll make sure that you're the king. We'll have a Correa day in every school, whatever you want. We'll build a statue outside of Minute Maid Park.
We'll put a statue with you and Altuve.
Yeah, you and Altuve. And I mean, I'm just saying, pay attention to what goes on in New York, to great players. They haven't won a title since 2009. The Yankees are couch potatoes in 2006. If you want to stay a champion, you got to stay here, baby, for the H.
All right. So I know the Yankees fans are probably rooting for the Astros to win this series because they don't like the Red Sox any more than they like us, but I'm sure they hate the Red Sox a little bit more. So I guess that's all we got for this podcast. I'm super excited that the series is tied. Now the Astros have home field advantage. Now they need to take advantage of it. Now, if they are able to get this victory and go up 3-2 and go home, and you have the chance to win one of those two home games, that's just icing on cake. I'm not saying it's going to guarantee anything, but that's just that should help. So that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you go subscribe to us on YouTube. For those y'all just joining us, you can listen to us every morning. Make us your first listen. Make sure you listen to us on Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and we will check you out tomorrow after, I think it's a 4:00 game.
Yeah, it's an
And
early game.
It's an early game, and we may have a guest tomorrow. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Go Astros.